Alright, this is John Cole with okraw.com through another exciting episode for you, and where we are in my buddy Mauricio's kitchen. And in the last episode, what happened was actually I went to Mauricio's jiu-jitsu school and I took a jiu-jitsu class. So click right up here to go to that video if you haven't seen it already. That'll give you kind of an intro of what's happening and get you guys up to date. And then now what you're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stay tuned, and I'm going to go ahead and sit down with Mauricio and give him all kinds of cool tips and tricks to stay on a raw vegan diet, since he came from, raw vegan to cooked vegan, and now he's back being raw. So now I'm with Mauricio, and I'm going to go ahead and ask him a few questions about his transition back to raw. So as you guys heard, to just recap you guys, he was raw for 2 years. He got, cast in a movie. He was training one of the actresses for jiu-jitsu to show her how to do moves in the movie, and then he was actually asked to be in the movie, and he played the drug dealer. and then when he was at the movie, the movie set provides you food and all this stuff, and they went out to dinners, and everybody would egg him on about man, eat this cooked stuff, it's not going to kill you and all this stuff, and so he caved in. And since that time, it's been a year or something, he's had a hard time getting back to raw, because I know many of you guys, if you eat one morsel of cooked, you think, oh, I ate a sweet potato and I've screwed up. Now I'm just going to go ahead and eat Oreo cookies. I'm going to eat burritos. I'm going to eat vegan pizza, because all cooked foods is the same. It's all bad. Well, no, it's not all bad. There's some worse than others, and I want you guys to make a list. Your always, sometimes, and never list. Always, sometimes, and never. That could be raw foods, always, sometimes, and never, and cooked foods, always, sometimes, and never. So you clearly define what you'll be eating. So for example, foods on my always list for raw foods for me personally are fruits and vegetables. Any fruits and vegetables I'd be eating raw that don't have any plant toxins in them naturally or in excessive levels. I could think rhubarb is something I'd probably never eat raw. Those are on my always list. I will always eat those foods. The next list you're going to have is a sometimes list. So on my sometimes list, I have things like seaweeds. I have things miso. I have things like the natto, the fermented soybeans that I like. For my vitamin K2, I have things like the sauerkrauts. I have things like some garlic and onions and herbs and spices that I like to enjoy sometimes. And then I have things on my never list. Things that may be raw that I will never eat, like packaged raw food products that are highly processed, that are really high in fat, that have ingredients that I don't want to eat, And at this point, I also will never eat processed foods. I will never eat meats. I'll never eat dairies. And you guys can come up with your own list, and maybe you want to include on your sometimes list, steamed sweet potatoes or steamed kale, because I personally believe any way you guys could get more greens in you, even if they're not raw, that's a good thing, because greens are low-calorie foods with high phytonutrients. And put things like McDonald's on your never eat list. Put things like Oreo cookies, even though they're vegan, on your never list. Put Amy's vegan pizzas on your never list. I think that's junk food because it's highly processed. And put on your sometimes list, if you want to, steamed, vegetables. I don't think there's a real big problem with that. Or, cooked beans, cooked sprouted beans, cooked sprouted lentils. And that's up to you, but I want you to clearly define that so that you don't fall too far off track, because I know there's some of us, like Mauricio here, who trains in jiu-jitsu, has intense discipline. We get off track sometimes and we screwed up, and then you just go off the deep end. And I don't want any of you guys to have it. If you have clear defined roles, you will stick to that. And I don't even necessarily recommend that people eat all raw or 99% raw like I do, because it could be exceedingly difficult to do it the best way possible when you're trying to keep all raw, because it's a really slippery slope trying to get enough calories but not eat too much fat and not eat too much fruit. And I've learned how to balance it for me, but that can be very challenging for people. Plus, in addition, sometimes on an all raw diet it can be challenging to get certain nutrients. And even sometimes it can be really hard to get enough calories. So, I believe for most people it'd be best to do a 80 to 90% raw diet and have 10% cooked stuff. And, as I've said before in my videos, even if you're not all vegan, I want you guys to be as plant-based as you possibly can. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop my rambling now. And Mauricio, how has it been coming back to raw, from getting off track with the cook diet?
Well, I feel good. It wasn't that hard. I thought it would be way harder. It was kind of a little hard shift because you came here and I said, you know what, he's like my mentor. I got a lot of things from you, inspirations, and you know what I mean. And I feel bad. What are you gonna do? Sometime I was eating some what I consider like junk food. I have a daughter, 10 years old, turning 11, and she's like to eat the vegan meat, and I try to get a brand that has less soy, like a pea protein, but it's still it's highly processed food, and I knew it was bad, and I was kind of since I'm eating the cooked food, let's get that, so we're getting tacos, it's vegan, but I felt not good, but I knew I'm gonna come back. I was just waiting, and your presence here was a good motivation. I immediately got on track. Like I said, I have all the stuff here. I just got a boot cooker, but still can. It is hard. One thing I can tell, and me, it's just me and my daughter, but if you have like roommates or your whole family and everybody's cooking, it's way more hard. Everybody gotta be on the same page. You know what I mean? I believe there are people that the wife is raw vegan, the husband's meat eater, whatever, which too extreme. But these people, it is hard to do like that. You gotta have a big, huge self-control. If you are in an environment, let's say, we wake up in a world that everything is like raw vegan. You know what I mean? You go you have fast food raw vegans, and they slice you go in the morning and they have like a papaya sliced in little cubes, and they give it to you like in a minute. They just take from the tree and give it to you. How nice would it be that, that would be very easy. You know what I mean? The problem is that our society, and if you live in groups, that's a bigger problem. That's why when I was traveling, you gotta be a little social. My problem with that, you got out of the wagon, and one of the concerns I was telling John is that I used to eat meat. Like everybody used to eat meat. It's very difficult to find somebody that grew up like eating raw vegan with the culture that we have today. Is very rare. I believe there are people like that. They raise the kids since day one raw vegan, but very, very unique. Have you heard about somebody like that?
Yeah, no, I met kids that are 100% raw vegan from birth, or even just vegan. Nice. But it's pretty rare, There's not too many.
Very rare, So it make it easier like that. You have dealing with other people, it make hard, and that's different people. They have different self-control. I think I'm pretty good self-control in that. My concern is like I said, I was telling before, my concern, like I used to eat meat, and it's like, man, well, imagine if I start to eat cooked, and then I start to eat processed vegan food, and next time I say, you know what, I miss some cheese, and then I mix some milk, and then I mix, that would be really bad, because I know that's really bad. I felt when I did my transition was very gradually, but I noticed the moment I cut the meat to vegetables, I was still getting kind of vegetarian, right? Lacto-vegetarian, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, but that transition from like meat eater, carnivore, to lacto-egg vegetarian was a big difference, And then other ones was gradually, with the raw vegan, pretty good too. But cutting the meat was, and that was my concern. Hey, what happens if I get out of the wagon and I,
go back to meat?
Yeah, not go back to meat, because I think I would have the control to not do that. But the worst thing to do is like you're craving. Because you're human beings, you don't want to like be struggling. The craving is worse. like when you really want it, like, oh no, I can't have it. I mean, it's suffering, you know, it's stress. I believe even stress about it like that. So you kind of feel, you know, that was my concern. And what I see now, coming back to raw vegan, I mean, like I said, I did like quickly. You came here and okay, raw vegan 100%. But I'm seeing that it's easier now. I'm more knowledgeable. I understand more other things. You know, I know what's gonna be my result. It's not something like before. I don't know my result. I don't know how I would feel. I don't know if I would feel if it worth to do the raw vegan. I do know that now. I know, and I always knew I was gonna come back. And you know, being radical 100%, you know, stuff. I was crazy. I was too much. Like I wouldn't eat like maple, anything. I would be reading the ingredients. Oh, that has maple. I can't touch that. And it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's not like a big deal. But more percentage you get, of course, better. You know, there was even a study from the 40s, you know, one doctor, I forgot the name, and he tells as long as you eat more than 50% raw, that makes a big difference in your body, and that's important. I went on this year that I been like eating cooked. I got days that maybe 2-3 days in a row that I only eat cooked food. So I was zero raw vegan.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I had days that I felt bad. Not like go sick or anything, you know, I had pretty good health, but I knew that food was bad. I remember one time too, my daughter and I, we just came in my mind now, we were getting like a lot of those yummy garden soy hamburgers, and we were eating a lot of that. Me and her, we start to have zits, you know, and, you know, and I don't know, I should have zits, and I said, you know what, that's something from that processed food. Maybe it's the soy or something. That's not right. I got like zits, a lot of zits. She got too, you know. So even vegan food can be bad for you. You know what I mean? It's, you know, maybe I don't know, but maybe they might be even worse than maybe milk or something like that. You know, maybe meat. I don't know, but it was pretty bad. You know. That and you know, so you gotta understand. Sometimes you get some vegan stuff, and you should have here in the refrigerator. You look at the ingredients list; it's like huge. You know, they're not organic. Sometimes they're not going to be non-GMO. So, you know, that's why I like to say what I do. I do a plant-based eating habits. You know, I eat plant-based food, and I try to eat as much raw I can. I think that's a good idea. And right now, you know, I'm doing 100%, so I know I'm doing the best I can. Could be even better. You know, remember we were doing that soup, the the other day, and the blended salad. I like that idea. You know, that's great to hang out here with John, you know, because I learned so much stuff. You know what I mean? And when he leaves, I'm gonna even watch more his videos because it is great. And he was saying, you know, it was nice because we ate that soap and it was pretty good taste and easy to eat because we blended. You know, it take a while to eat, like, you know, because I was eating when I was raw vegan before. I was eating a lot of salad because, you know, salad is kind of easy to do. You come home, you know. I be honest, I did a lot of gourmet dishes. They have pictures and stuff. I did like brownies and carrot cakes and zucchini and the kale chips. But it's time consuming. You know, it's time consuming, the gourmet food. So you end up like, you know, getting something that you balances, like kind of fast but tastes good. And I got the salad, you know, but takes too long to eat, you know. And I see that how John, you know, takes time to eat, and that's right. I don't do that, and I feel kind of bad because I'm swallowing those salad. So that's something that I learned to, you know, either gonna blend the salad or I'm gonna take longer to eat. You know, I can be swallowing those leaves. I'm not going to absorb everything. No? And that's something that I learned, you know. And then when we were drinking, I mean, the soup, he said, you know what? We could have done that soup healthier. I said, wow, healthier? like, man, that's pretty good. And say, yeah, no, we could juice the leaves, we could change this ingredient to other thing. It's like, wow, yeah, that's true, makes sense. Yeah, you know what I mean? But we always try to balance, you know. You gotta see the time you have to do. You gotta see how much yum you wanna do, you know, how much gourmet you wanna do, if you wanna compromise. Man, I believe it is, man. More raw, like straight food you get healthier it is. But you have those instincts, like really. Even if I do like you do, like you have what 25 years now, doing 20 years, yeah, doing the raw vegan. I mean, you remember those when you used to eat, you know, you grow up with that, like, oh, I gotta eat good, you know. I mean, you advance, of course. 20 years. I'm doing just for like just what 3 years, you know, 4 years. So I sure remember. It's like it's difficult to, you know, give away that yummy taste from the food. I mean, we went to the restaurant, Dabster, and you know, I mean, you ate all that. It's a lot of, even though it's raw, you know, and it's good, tastes good, and it's clean, but it's too much ingredients, you know, and it is kind of processed raw food, right? And all something. If you I don't know what it is, but if you mix some kind of chemical with another chemical and put together, they are not harmless chemical, but you put together, you create gunpowder, no? So the same thing, you know, some stuff like you mix and it's bad for you. So even if it's raw, you're mixing like what 20 ingredients. I mean, it's gonna be a cocktail, you know. You don't go in a wild, like if you're animals and you eat something from like Asia and then something from South America, and then, you know what I mean, put everything together. So we are like, I guess we're like changing the nature by doing that, because we have planes that bring stuff from across the world, and you know, and we have climate, how we call climate environment to plant stuff like from hot water or weather in cold weather. So you know what I mean, it's too much in that we feel in our health that. So yeah, so I'm kind of on the track again. You know, I'm gonna be more flexible this time. I don't wanna be like so radical, you know, whatever, man. If I need to eat like a little lentil, and he told that, man, if you need to eat like a lentil soup or something, no problem, just try to make it healthy. And I think that's great, you know, like the coaching that he gave me, the advice that he gave me was great, because you don't need to be neurotic, 100% religious raw. I mean, bro, that's too much. I mean, if you need, just go eat something, get a little cooked. I need to learn that, you know what I mean? I need to learn to, if I fall off the wagon, I come back, you know what I mean? If I'm out of the train tracks, I come back. So you can go like totally like processed food, vegan, eating like veganese and these, and because it is bad. It is really bad. You know, I see a lot of people I encountered when I was, you know, started vegan diet, which I call the plant-based, but whatever. I see people that are very unhealthy, and they're like, you know, but they are for other causes, you know, animal protection, you know, I mean, environment, but what I do is kind of mainly is the health, but after getting involved on that, I feel how bad it's for our environment, and how kind of you pay like a little karma by, you know what I mean, what you do by eating meat. You're polluting the planet. We don't have I believe, see, and I'm not a guy that have pets or animal love. I do like pets, but I'm not crazy. I see a lot of people that's crazy about pets, crazy about the environment. They want to recycle the trash, but man, you're polluting much more eating meat, you know. I mean, come on, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get the hybrid car because, you know, I want to recycle my trash, but, you know, how about the meat? I mean, meat production, you know, livestock, that pollute a lot. I read books about that. It's crazy. Everybody should go and look, do your own research about that. You're gonna see how bad it is, you know, how bad it would be our planet if you didn't do that. You know what I mean? People don't know about that. Of course, government hide that from you, because our economy the way it is a structure that you can't change that. If everybody would be vegan, the world would be completely different. You know, a lot of companies would break, no? A lot of people will be out of business, everything would change. You know, the environment would be better, but, you know, things would change. People don't want that change. You know, I believe in the future, maybe 200 years, you know, we're going to be more towards vegan, because that's the way, that I believe that's the future. You know, vegan is the future. And by doing that, I feel like I'm ahead in the future than the other people. Not being like cocky or anything, I'm superior, because people think about that, about people that vegan. Oh no, you're cocky, you're superior, you think like you're better than... No, but I feel that I'm doing my dues, you know, as a earthling. You know, I'm contributing for the planet much more than the guy that has a hybrid car or has the electric car that he pay $80,000, you know what I mean? Man, I'm doing, you know, a good thing, you know, for my body, for the other species on the planet, for the environment. And that's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle, and it's a good karma. You know what I mean? You do that, and it was great to meet you in person. You know, I mean, I had an idea about your personality on the videos and everything, but it's very nice to see how honest he is. You know, and when he does his reviews, that he does is truly honest. We went to a restaurant, he doesn't matter, man. If he doesn't like with something, he's telling the truth. It's not because somebody gave you like a free product or a free meal for him. Oh, you know, that's... No. John is very honest, you know, and that's really rare to find these days, you know, because money, you know, destroy everything, you know, and he's not about that. He's about sharing his knowledge with people, and, you know, educate people and make it, you know, contribute for a better world. And I respect that, and that's really unique to find, you know, and I'm witness of that. Anybody can call me, email me, and man, I'm, you know what I mean, I'm really impressed with his work. And, you know, everybody that I see, I talk about his channel, even before, but now even more, I talk about his channel, and to subscribe, watch his videos, because he's the man, you know. I like you, bro, and, you know, great. Thank you for your contribution, for your viewers. I mean, we are lucky to have you here, and, you know, very nice. Meet you in person and see your working. It's very unique, you know, because everybody's looking to, you know, promote themselves and making money, and, you know, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Everybody gotta make their own money, but, you know, you're like me, you know what I mean? In my business too, I could be doing that too. I could compromise, you know, the quality and not being too honest and making more money. You know what I mean? The snake oil seller. I don't know if you guys you understand that, but you know what I mean? You gotta be honest, you know, because in the end, man, it's a karma. You do bad things, you know, you lie to people, you try to, you don't need to be, people, what I see today, people are that desperate to make money. You know what I mean? And you know, we have that talk about that. We should, like, we could just trade stuff. Like, you give me lifts, I teach you jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was an old time. The money come to destroy everything. And, you know, it's sad to see that. And you know, even though, I mean, we're here in America, great country, I love it here, but you see those big corporations and, you know, it's bad. And I try to not support them. You know, I rather like go to the little produce place and help people that, you know, small, you know, not the big companies. Yeah, so, see, I kind of feel like I started with the vegan, and then the raw vegan, and now it's a whole lifestyle. It's a whole, like, you know.
It opens your eyes about all kinds of stuff you had no clue about.
Yeah, it's definitely. And, you know, everybody should have this kind of thought, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, I mean, he talked about so much stuff. I just want to try to, like, cover a few things. Like, I mean, number one, what's really important for me and what kept me on track all these years is, number one, have a reason, you know, why you're doing what you're doing. You know, if you, like for me, when I got into this, like for me, like I had to change my diet because for me, it was either to live or to not live, because the doctors told me I had a complement immune deficiency. And from what I learned way back when is like, if I ate cooked foods, I was not going to even be around. So that was like a really strong motivation for me to stay on track. And whatever that motivation is for you, so that you stay on track, have some kind of reason. It's super critical and super important.
Yeah, that's very important too. We have this talk about the other day. I don't know how it's in other parts of the country, but usually when I go in place like you know, they have a lot of people into that, the raw vegan stuff. It's like usually you see there is a holistic center here that you know, I sometimes go there to eat, and you go there, see people with that, you know, that thin hair, that they have cancer, and or people super old. You can see people are healing from disease, and it's like, wow, man, why you do that? Why you wait to get on the edge of the cliff to say, oh, now I gotta change my diet? You know what I mean? You should do this way before. Like, see, this is something that I tell, and I think it's cool that I tell that, because I have great health, you know, but I try to make better, you know what I mean? And you know, everybody should do, don't wait like, oh, you get sick or something to do that change. You know, a lot of people I meet, they say, oh no, I'm great, my blood works great, oh, I feel great, but that, man, that's ridiculous, you know. You gotta do this before. Now wait like when you're like sick and maybe you're gonna have a chance, you know, maybe not. You wait too long, you know. When you find out you have cancer, what? Your cancer was in your body, the cell of cancer, the carcinogenic cells, they were like 10 years in your body, right? So, I mean, come on, you know, you're gonna wait the symptoms to like do the change. It's sad. I wish I could go in this place and see like younger people, you know what I mean? Teenagers, maybe children, you know. That's the best way to start. Like, remember you said about the guy that started to do jiu-jitsu 6 years old? Yeah, he can do, but he won't have the same results, right?
Yeah, I mean, I gave him an example that he would understand, and I like to try to like put things in simple layman's terms that he would understand. And the example I gave him was this, like, if a 6-year-old came in to jiu-jitsu and just started, and then, you know, for him to become a black belt, you know, how quickly would he become a black belt and how good would he be? And say a 60-year-old man came in to do jiu-jitsu, you know, it's really kind of hard to teach an old dog new tricks, especially when it's, you know, getting up there in age. To get him to be a black belt, and what would his level of performance be? It's like if somebody gets into raw foods when they're younger or when they're older, and there's a lot of young kids these days getting into raw foods, and you know, a lot of kids are a lot more resilient, and you could screw up a lot more and bounce back when you're older. It's significantly harder to. You know, and that's why I teach what I do, because I've seen over the last 20 years what could happen if you don't do raw foods the best way. If you're eating, you know, high carb and you neglect certain types of foods, you know, leafy greens, for example, or high nutrient dense foods, or even more importantly, what I'm getting into these days are like, you know, foods that have anti-cancer and anti-disease properties that can help us be healthier, because that's my whole goal with raw foods, is to be healthy and for life extension. So we want to eat low calorie and high nutrient foods, and more importantly, foods that are actually protective. So instead of just me calling myself a raw foodist or vegan raw foodist, you know, what tells what I don't eat, I'm going to explain what I do eat. So, you know, I like to eat, you know, high antioxidant, disease protective, primarily fruits and vegetables that are ripe, raw, and organic. I mean, that's pretty much what I eat. And yeah, I mean, I eat some nuts in season too. But I want to let you guys what I do eat, so that you guys could eat those too, because, you know, whether you're eating raw foods and they're gourmet or fresh fruits and vegetables, you know, you might be missing something that you really should be getting to get what you really desire, which in most of you guys' cases is to have the optimal level of health. And, you know, by eating a wide spectrum and wide variety of these high antioxidant foods, which is not necessarily even talked about in gourmet raw foods, because it's all about the nuts and the fats and the salts and the oils and the sweets, and that's what it's about. It's raw, so it's fine. No, man, you guys need to take it to the next level. So I'm glad I've gotten to share time with Mauricio this week to really get him on track, to get him, you know, to the top of the game, in my opinion, from what I've learned over the last 20 years, and more importantly, get his daughter into this stuff too, and, you know, get her eating more raw plant foods instead of, you know, as much cooked foods and processed foods, you know, and he's going to move her along at a slow and gradual pace like he's been, so that she could also be successful as you've been. So Mauricio, now I'd like to actually share some tips with you from just you know, staying with you and living with you and seeing what's in your fridge and all this kind of stuff, and knowing how maybe you used to eat. Like, what I really want to recommend is just basically what I told you during this past week, that all you guys that weren't here is, I really want to encourage you to like get on the blended salads, you know, the blended salads and the soups. You know, you saw me we made blended salad together
that was awesome.
One night. Yeah, and it's super simple. You know, I'll let you guys know how I did it. You know, this is the model, and I have videos on how to make blended salads and blended soups and even just raw soups. So check my past episodes. I'll try to link a couple down below if I remember. But basically, the blended salad is everything you would put in a salad bowl and you would eat, but instead you're going to blend it up, because, you know, like I told them earlier in the week, if you eat a salad, and then I want you guys to look at your poop and look at the poop and see what comes out. If you see leaves of poop and things that are undigested in your poop, what does that mean? That means you're not chewing your salad good enough, because we have teeth. We're supposed to turn every mouthful into mush, and that's why it takes me an hour or two, and for lunch today, because I was also talking at the same time, 3 hours to eat, which is insane, and most people don't have that kind of time. The blender is super handy. So just throw like, you know, I throw like a pound of tomatoes in there. We threw a whole pound of like the spring mix in there. We put some like cut up bell peppers in there, some cut up cucumber in there. Then I put a little bit of miso for some flavoring, plus some fermented food, some kimchi for some flavor. We put some taco seasoning in there. And normally I like to put, if I had it, like sun-dried tomatoes in there, and some seaweed powder in there, and just blend that up into a nice blended soup. And definitely don't over blend it. And actually, with the nice large craft on the Vitamix, a short and fat craft, actually I could blend the least of any blender I've ever tried. So I gotta get one of those really soon. So I learned something new this trip. And then you'll be able to eat that, and don't just chug it down. Oh, I already blended it, I don't need to even have it in my mouth, it just goes straight down the throat now. No, no, no. Take every mouthful, swish it around, mix it with your saliva, you know, make the motion like you are chewing, even though you don't really need to, and then swallow it, and take your time eating it. Don't just like, got it in the liquid, I'm just gonna gulp it down. You know, no, don't do that, all right? The thing I want you guys to do is the soups that I make. So, I mean, I have videos on how to make soups, but basically what I did, I took the Omega NC800 at home. I take the Omega VSJ843. I juiced like 2 pounds of peppers that I got fresh from a farm. I made 100% pepper juice. I took that pepper juice, and then I blended that up with like some avocado, actually I used some sprouted watermelon seeds, which are phenomenal. Some, you know, some more miso. If I would have had it, would have used some kimchi or other sauerkraut, pickled vegetables. Also use some taco seasoning, because that's a seasoning. I think I put some curry seasoning in there, some seaweed powder. Blended that up into a nice thick mixture. And then I only blended half of the juice, and then I poured in the other half at the end. Just spun it around just enough to get it mixed so that I didn't have to oxidize all the pepper juice. And then I shredded up like a big like radish in there into noodles. You could also use zucchini. I cut up some cucumbers in there, and then I put like about 3 heads of lettuce chopped up in there. So basically I have like a salad, but it's covered in soup. And so now this allowed me to get like 2 pounds of the nutrition out of the peppers into me, you know, that I wouldn't normally have gotten, because normally you might put a couple peppers, you know, in the blender when you would blend it up. So I really want you guys to increase the, you know, nutritious vegetables, like non-sweet, colorful vegetables, tomatoes and peppers, which are technically non-sweet fruits, and also like things like the greens, and you know, it's super important. And sometimes I'll add, you know, the dehydrated tomatoes, because when you take the water out of tomatoes, they're dehydrated, they're more concentrated, so it's a concentrated source of nutrients. And that's also another good way to, you know, eat a dinner and get way more fruits and vegetables in you by using the appliances such as the juicers and the blenders. Another thing I saw, you know, over the week I was staying here, you know, you guys ate salads, which is really good, but some of the dressings you had contained olive oil, you know, so I really want you to focus on, and you guys out there too, focus on whole foods. You know, olive oil is a processed food, as is things like sugar, agave nectar, and all these things. We want to eat foods as found in nature. So like I mentioned to him, easy dressings to make. Take some orange juice and take some nuts, blend it up in the blender into a creamy sauce. That's like the super easiest. I mean, you could do like just tomatoes and some blended nuts, you know, or, you know, tomatoes and avocados, or orange juice and avocados, or carrot juice and avocados. Basically, you want a fat and a nut instead of the olive oil, because the olive oil is quite calorically dense, and it's empty calories because there's no nutrition going along with the 100% fat. And I know a lot of you guys like, but olive oil is healthy. In my opinion, it's not healthy. That's what I believe. And, you know, if you guys want to still eat olive oil, I don't really care, but I'll let you know my opinion on that is that olive oil and other oils are not healthy. Maybe the only exception is like I take some DHA, EPA oil from algae, which are like small capsules, and I'm not eating them in any large quantity. I'm not eating them for the oil. I'm eating them for the specific omega-3 to 6. And that's why the other recommendation I made to you was to actually just put some ground up flax seeds in with your dressing every night. Whatever nut you're going to use, you know, add a tablespoon or 2 of the ground up flax seeds. It's not going to change it too much. It's actually going to make it separate out of the blender a little bit easier with those fats from the flax. And also it's going to get you a better balance of omega-3 to 6s, because that's a big problem I see with people in the raw foods. They have an imbalance of 3 to 6s and they have way too many 6s, which causes inflammation and is definitely not a good thing. But most Americans have even a further imbalance of omega-3 to 6s. Let's see here, what other things? I mean, I think those are the main things. I mean, focus on, you know, another thing that came up was like, Mauricio was feeling hungry, and he's like, man, John, what can I make just that's real quick, you know? And I'm like, well, you know, just blend up some vegetables and fruits in the blender. You know, I want to, what I've been trying to do lately is like reduce my fruit consumption and just increase my vegetable consumption, you know, and I'd like to have like maybe 1 sweet fruit meal a day. I mean, sometimes I'll have 2, depends on what I have, but really try to get more veggies in. And, you know, I know he's a busy guy and he doesn't have a lot of time to use a juicer normally, so that's why blending could really come in handy, you know, and add some of the cool ingredients that I do, and it's going to taste good too. Let's see, any other things you could think of, Mauricio, that suggestions I gave you that were valuable to you that you should share that I didn't mention just now? Yeah,
like I learned a lot of that too. I knew the olive oil was bad. One question I have is like, how long you gonna oxidize like the soup that we did? Like I'm not thinking for me much. I do gonna use that if I need like to take for work. My work's close to the house and everything, but I'm thinking about people that, because I encounter a lot of people that ask like, oh, it's very inconvenient because I work in the office from 8 to 5, and I believe like that soup, I don't know, I'm asking you, maybe if you can put it like in a little thermal bag with some ice, I mean, and that soup gonna be okay after like 3-4 hours, or I believe like gonna oxidize more in a blender than the juicer, the slow juicer, but I don't know. We just ate that soup like immediately, so I don't know how it will look like after like 5 hours, 6 hours, you know.
Right.
And it's a good important thing, because if you're in a hurry, and most of people, I believe average people here in America, I mean, they have like what, 20 minutes to lunchtime, and you know, if you need a snack, you gotta just chug or something. So if they can take this to work, that would be a good idea, because every people is different. But with me, with the juicing, I was telling John, when I get the juicer, I mean the juicing from the juicer, I feel hungry. I get the juice, I feel like good energy, you know, because I'm not digesting. It's kick it in immediately. It's like an energy drink, but you know, I feel hungry because I don't have the fibers, you know. So that's a problem for me. So I think the soups are pretty good because they come with the fiber. There's more feeling.
There's a few reasons for that, but it's basically, in my opinion, it's the fiber, but also some fat. So in the blended salads we make, we put a little bit of avocado or some nuts, right? And in the juice, you don't have that. So I mean, one of the things you guys could do if you choose to, I'm a juice purist and just usually drink my juice straight. But what you could do is you could like blend the juice with some like young coconut meat, And because it'll have some fat, and even the coconut meat had some fiber, and even the juicer lets some fiber through, but not a whole lot. It lets all the soluble fiber through, but not the insoluble stuff, except for some smart particulate. But if you blend the juice, because I've done this plenty of times, blend the juice with some coconut meat, it slows down your digestion so you're not as hungry as quickly. So fiber and the fat will do that. So as to the other question as to like, you know, how long or how good is the stuff that you make, you know, to take to work the next day. So here's the thing. This is what I would recommend. I mean, I like to teach you guys good, better, best and give you guys options and flexibility, right? And that's really important to me because I don't want you guys to like lock yourself in a box to think I need this or I can't eat anything and I'm just going to get off the wagon or something. And the other thing I want to let you guys know is that there is no such thing as a wagon, and you will never fall off the wagon if you set your guys up for success. So I want you guys to set yourself up and put yourself in the mind state of success so that you never fall off the wagon, because who made the 100% raw rule, right? That's some bullshit that was made up, and if I don't eat 100% raw, I fall off the wagon because you self-inflicted that upon yourself, right? I want you guys to set up your own, you know, what the wagon is and set it up so that you never fall off, so that you never feel bad, because I think this is probably one of the worst things you could do. Set up your wagon like this. Okay, my wagon is all vegetarian, all vegan, you know, all plant-based. That's a hard wagon to fall off of. I mean, you really got to fall off bad. Maybe your wagon is, I'm all plant-based during the whole week, and then on Fridays at night, I get to have a small amount of meat. Stay on the wagon and then look forward to your Fridays. You know, that's way better than probably what you were doing, but whatever it is, and you could change your wagon every Friday. Every Friday you're going to make a new wagon for the next week, depending on the wagon of that week and how you lasted. So that you never fall off the wagon, because you set it up easy enough so that the hurdles are just a little that high and you can always jump it. So that you never fail, so that you always have success, because I want you guys to always have success, right? Anyways, getting back to the how long the blender thing lasts. So what I would recommend for you guys that have to go to work and stuff, do this. Get like a little portable blender, like a NutriBullet, right? And they have knockoffs now. It's called the Skinny Girl blender at Sam's Club. It was like $39.99. It's just like the NutriBullet has the same power. I don't know if it works the best, but for 40 bucks, man, buy it, keep it at work. Then what you're going to do is every day you're going to bring like a little Tupperware, or I like to use glass instead of Tupperware, but bring your pre-washed vegetables, everything you need for your, you know, green smoothie, everything you need for your, you know, blended salad to work in a little container that's all pre-washed. So when it's your lunchtime, open up what you pre-washed, put it in your NutriBullet, blend it up and drink it. Because honestly, the best is when you could process something, open up the cell walls and drink it immediately, you know. And I'm just kind of being anal here, but that's the best, and I'm not going to tell you what isn't the best, you know. And if you could do that, great. If you can't keep a NutriBullet at your work, you can't keep your produce cold at work because you've got an ice pack or whatever, the whole produce, because it's far better to do it that way than anything else, then you're going to go to the second best. The second best is, you know, have the stuff prepared at night, right before you go to bed, and in the morning when you get up, right before you leave and go out the door, blend this stuff up really fast and then take it to work. Better yet than blending, because blending tends to add excess oxidation, in my opinion, to whatever you're blending. And of course, only blend it as long as you need to, would be to juice it, because juicing, you know, in my opinion and from the data I've seen, oxidizes it much less. And then after you juice it, put it in a bottle and suck out the air, whether you're going to use some kind of vacuum wine saver used for wine, or whether you're going to use a food saver, and keep your juice cold, take it to work under a vacuum, and, you know, drink it for lunchtime. Don't like wait till the afternoon. And that's, I mean, if that's the best you can do, that's way better than buying something out of the candy bar machine, or, you know, getting a vegan, like, hamburger or vegan burger at Wendy's. Like, good, better, best, right? And if you don't have time to that, you know, bring a salad and try to chew it enough. And even that's can be hard, because eating a salad can take some time if you're chewing it properly. So then in that case, you might want to take some fruit, because you don't have to chew fruit that's so soft and not as fibrous as much as you do the vegetables. And then, you know, so like last night's soup, I made a big, large soup, man, and he had a bowl, I had a big bowl, and he had a salad last night also. And then, like, I couldn't finish all my soup, and, like, I really don't want you guys to overeat either. That's another big thing I've learned over all these years. Don't overeat. Even if you've got man, I got like that much left in my bowl, but I'm full and I could just get it in. I'm supposed to finish my plate like I was taught when I was a kid. Bullshit, don't finish your plate. You're doing yourself a disservice by overeating, in my opinion, right? Who cares if you save a little bit? Yeah, and I saved some of my soup from last night till today. Did it all of a sudden go poof and disappear and all the antioxidants were lost? No, I mean, it's not optimal, but, you know, I don't feel bad by saving my stuff, you know, up to 12 hours. Or even 24 hours at the max. After 24 hours, like, I don't like to eat stuff more than 24 hours, and that's probably just some weird thing I got in my head. And honestly, it'd probably be fine for 2 days, but I like to eat it within 24 hours, and I feel good. And even better yet, I like to, if I save it from last night, I usually like to eat it for like lunch the next day. I went out for lunch today, and I'll be eating it, you know, a little bit after 24 hours in this instance. But it's all right, you know, do the best you can. If that's the best you can do, you can make it the night before you go to work, because you got to wake up early. Make it the night before and just have it all, you know, food saved in a glass bottle in the fridge, and take that to work. Just keep it cold. Do the best you can. I've kind of given you guys a lot of options, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to give you guys options, not just say this is the way, this is the dogmatic way to do raw food. You got to eat 30 bananas a day and a bunch of dates, and you got to eat steamed potatoes. No, man, I want to give you guys options, and you guys figure out what you want to do, what'll work for you and your lifestyle. And it's sad to me that people online tend to say, do this. I want to give you guys the most options, and also encourage you guys to think for yourselves and think about what makes the most sense for you, because 9 times out of 10, the stuff I'm teaching you guys, if you think about it, is like, oh yeah, that's just as common sense if you think about it. Got any other questions for me?
No, I'm pretty good, yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool.
I learned a lot of stuff, and you know, it's better now that I was doing a lot of mistakes.
Well, I don't want to say mistakes, you know, you just maybe learn better ways to do things, you know?
Yeah, it was okay, but now this 2.0 version.
Yeah, dial it in a little bit further, you know?
But that's life. Life is evolution.
That's exactly
That's how we evolve. We learn new things. I mean, I was getting a lot of nuts, to be honest. When I was the raw vegan, I love nuts.
I mean, that's a common mistake. I talk about that. You know, I have a video on how it's so easy to open the bulk bin and they all come out boom, 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 and then you just shovel them in. And you know, then I went to a nut tree in my brother's backyard and I picked a whole bunch of almonds, and then I had to shell them all, and it took hours to shell all the nuts. And in nature, we wouldn't really eat that many nuts. So we really want to focus on the things that we could eat a lot of. So that's why I recommend, you know, 10% of your calories from nuts.
How about like peanut butter, almond butter? I mean, you just
that's really hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I just don't even eat nut butters for the most part. I mean, you know, and I eat up to like 25% fat, but I feel best. I feel like my best when I'm like around 15% fat. You know, and I give myself variances, plus or minus 5%. So 15% normally, up to 20, and down to 10. And that's where I feel the best at for me. Now, you guys might be different, but in no case do I necessarily recommend anything more than 25% fat, because when you're eating more than 25% or 25% of your calories from fat, the problem I have with that is, number one, there's too much fat, and number two, you're displacing nutrient-dense vegetables or nutrient-dense fruits that you're replacing with the fat. And I think that's the real big problem. You're not eating enough vegetables, or, you know, good, delicious, antioxidant-rich fruits at that point. Yeah, so, I mean, we're all on this learning and growing journey, and I want to let you guys know that, you know, just being here with Mauricio, I've learned so many new things myself. Like, definitely probably the biggest thing was just being able to, like, actually use the blender, because I've been too cheap to buy one. And Vitamix hasn't sent me one for review yet. But yeah, that thing kicks ass, and I'm probably just gonna have to like plunk down the money at my local Costco to buy one. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this format, this episode, I know this episode was like super long. So congrats to you guys that stayed and watched the whole thing, because the majority of the people did not, because you guys are the true people that really want to learn and take your diet to the next level. And if you even incorporate half the things that we talked about in this episode, you know, you will be healthier for it, you know. And so if you liked it, yeah, thumbs up, let me know. I'll come back to Mauricio's and try to do more videos like this in the future when I go and visit people and all this stuff. I had fun time doing it. I want to thank you, Mauricio, for having me.
Thank you for
And I'm glad, you know, we were helping each other out, man, and helping you guys out as well. And also be sure to check my past episodes. If you guys like this episode, I'm sure you'll like some of my past over 400 episodes now on my channel. And be sure to click that subscribe button right down below. to be notified of my new and upcoming episodes that I have coming out about every 5 to 7 days. And also, be sure to share this video if you think it'll help somebody else that's on a raw food diet or a non-raw food diet or a non-vegan diet. You know, this video has so many tidbits and knowledge to basically get you up to speed. And the final thing I want to encourage you guys, watch the video I made, 20 tips that I wish I knew 20 years ago when I started a raw food diet. I mean, that's a 2-hour long video and it shares like almost all my tips in one video. You know, so you guys can get off to a healthy start on a plant-based raw food diet and do it, you know, the way that I see as, you know, some of the best ways possible. And what I learn and teaching today may be different in 6 months, so that's why you got to stay tuned to my channel, because as I learn new stuff, I share with you guys, and I'm always learning and adjusting. Because I got in a comment the other day, John, what you're teaching now is different than what you're teaching then. Yes, because I learned a better way to do it, and I'm not going to be so dogmatic to say this is always the way and create my reality based on what I think and I learned back then and just say everybody else is wrong. No, I'm going to change and let you guys know, you know, I'm not perfect. No, everything always evolves. All the latest technology, and people still have an iPhone 3 and they think it's the best when the 6 is out now. So,
of course.
Anyways, that's pretty much all about me.
You can be 200 years, you're still gonna be learning stuff. I mean, that's
yeah,
like,
man.
That happened with me.
It's evolution.
That's what happened to me in Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, I'm like a student. I'm teaching the class. I'm doing this for 25 years, but I'm a student. I'm always learning new things. And also, when you teach stuff, you learn things too.
Yeah.
You know, you show better. So whoever said that comment was really bad, because what you're doing is a part of evolution. You know, every time you're doing your education, showing people, you know, you also research and you learn stuff. So, you know, of course, if anybody gonna see a video from you from 5 years from now, you know, you're gonna be better. Same thing for me. When I see my videos of me training 5 years ago, I look like, wow, that was bad. It's different. You know what I mean? Now I'm better, and that's how it is. And you know, you cannot be that closed mind and say, oh, you know, it's not a closed book. You know, there's researches, and you know, people find out new things, and you test things with you, and you know what I mean, see what works, what doesn't work. That happened with me, and I'm glad I have you to guide me, because you know, I mean, I start this from out of nowhere. I start like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and you know, I look on the internet, and I'm gonna do my research, and I went through a lot of videos. I saw a lot of videos, saw a lot of people saying things, and I kind of stick with John. You know what I mean? He's very popular, but he also, like, everything that he does makes sense. You know, when I try, okay, let me see if it's correct. Like, I remember when I said about the MSG and
the brags.
In the brags. Man, I was getting a load of brags, and right away, you know, I remember that was a long time ago. So I said, let me check, you know, if it's legit, you know. And I look, and it's like, wow, yeah, legit. So he does it. He's digested for you guys. You know what I mean? You gotta understand that. Especially if you're in a hurry, you don't have time. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know, my videos take a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, but you know what? A lot of people go home, man, and watch stupid stuff in the TV, you know what I mean? I rather sit down in YouTube and watch one of your videos, you know. You can do that in one video a week, you know what I mean? That's pretty good, you know what I mean? A lot of people sit down and watch soap operas, games, and what good is that? If you watch a game, what better gonna make in your life, you know what I mean? You gotta learn to enjoy that, you know. It's a good reward, because you watch a video, you change your lifestyle, you change your health, and it's a good reward. So you're gonna feel like, I feel entertained when I watch your videos.
Yeah, I try to be funny too.
Yeah, but also, you know, it's good because it is something that, you know, it's a pleasure. You know, it's like something that I know gonna increase more knowledge to my health, you know, my eating habits. So I mean, I have pleasure when I watch the videos, you know, and that's like, I feel guilty if I'm gonna sit down and watch like a game or something. I'm not into game much, but if you're gonna see something on Netflix, what they're gonna make my life better, you know. It's entertainment, you can laugh and everything, but you know, it is important. I mean, you're already digesting a lot of information. I mean, you watch a video from you talk about 10 subjects. You know what I mean? How long it took you to research about those 10
I've been
subjects?
doing this 10 years.
You know what I mean?
I've been doing this 20 years, so.
It's like a little bird that chew and put in a baby bird in a, you know what I mean, the food, and put in the mouth. I mean, you know what I mean? You're like, you know, you did the research, and so what? The videos is an hour and a half. Yeah, they're pretty long, but you know what I mean? It's knowledge, and that's priceless.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I do it to share knowledge, because if I did it for views, my videos wouldn't be an hour long or 2 hours long. They'd be like 5 minutes long, because that's the best time to make, if you are making YouTube videos, to get more views, so you can get more popular. And I haven't done that, so maybe I'm not as popular as I should be, but anyways. So Mauricio, if somebody wants to learn jiu-jitsu here in the South Florida area, and they want to learn jiu-jitsu from, you know, my master in jiu-jitsu, how did they get a hold of you in your studio and all that stuff?
I hope you stick with that, man. You did great, you know, very nice.
Man.
It's jiu-jitsu for everybody, man, you know what I mean? And one thing I like to tell people is this, because I'm the guy that when I was 15 years old and I walked in the jiu-jitsu, I didn't want to do jiu-jitsu, I was dragged there. And I said, man, I don't like that. So I always tell people, you know, just give it a try. The same thing, you try, you know, things all the time. For you to critique something, to make a comment about something, you have to try. You know what I mean? Some, you know, you never know. Some people might, hey, I want to do jiu-jitsu. They go, yeah, it's not for me. Sometimes you don't even know what's going on. You know, like you came there and you see the value of the stuff. You see how it can be beneficial. You know, you don't need to go crazy. You can go train once a week and just learn something. Like same thing with the raw food diet. You don't need to go crazy. I mean, just learn some, you know, just improve your diet a little bit. If somebody want to get in touch with me, you know, you can go on our website, www.brjj.com, B as in boy, R as in Robert, JJ.com, or you can call 561-856-1361. And, you know, I'm going to offer like a free trial, you know what I mean, because I'm sharing, I'm not doing anything for money. I mean, of course, I got to pay my bills and pay the rent, but I like to share my knowledge like John does and improve your life, and everything's tied together, you know. The jiu-jitsu, you need to have a healthy lifestyle. To have a healthy lifestyle, you gotta sleep good, you gotta live a life free of stress, you gotta do good things to people, you know, you gotta eat right, you know what I mean? So that's why I tell my students, I don't go trying to convert people to vegan or anything, but, you know, I always try to advise them, man, I don't know how good you're training 5 days a week if you, like, you sleep 2 hours and, you know, you sleep bad and you eat crap and you eat, you know, greased food, fried food. I mean, you know, so that will happen. People start to train jiu-jitsu and then they want to improve their jiu-jitsu and then they end up, you know, eating healthy, and that's great because I have students that they start to train with me and they start to eat healthier, and then the wife starts to eat healthier, and then the kids start to eat healthier, you know, and that's great. You know, it happens with my daughter too. She starts to be vegan, you know, because she look on me, you know, she look after me and she try to copy me. She starts to eat, and next time I see her, she has friends that try to be vegan too, and she's only 10 years old, and the other kids like, oh, why are you vegan? Oh, I want to be vegan too, you know, and that's nice because you know, you share something that, you know what I mean, make other people following you, and, you know, and you're changing the world a little bit, little by little. Everybody should contribute a little bit.
Yeah, we all have the power to change the world, and I want to encourage you guys to do your part. You know, like I'm doing mine. I mean, that's why I do it, to basically pay it forward. You know, watch that movie if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I guess with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. So once again, my name is John Kohler with okraw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best. Alright, this is John Kohler with okraw.com. Today we're going to another exciting episode for you, and where I'm at today is I'm at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy here, established in 1996 here in Wellington, Florida. And why I'm here today is actually to visit a buddy of mine